Hello friends, today we'll go through the topic challenges for electric vehicle. In this topic we'll see high initial cost of electric vehicles, maintenance of electric vehicles. We'll also see why the total cost of ownership of electric vehicles is lower than ICE, and in the last we'll go through the topic of EV adoption. Going through the first slide, we see high initial cost. Now, the cost of a mid-size EV is approximately 40% more expensive than conventional internal combustion engine vehicle. The reason of high initial cost is the battery setup. The use of expensive chemical batteries increase the range of the product, but also it enlarges the hole in the pocket. The regular R&D of the battery technology will bring down the cost eventually. Apart from that, the power electronic is not the cheap technology either. The battery management system as well as the thermal management system comes with high cost. But again, since we are exploring the new range of features, this is projected to be cheaper in the coming years. Once the production is in full swing, we will see huge plummet in the high initial cost. At present, the production rate is low. The companies are working below average efficiency because of low demands in the market. Now, most of the customers buy a vehicle based on purchase price and the monthly loan or the lease payments they can afford or are willing to pay. When EVs have comparable driving range and are priced the same or at least very close to ICE vehicles and without government incentives, then only this adoption hurdle will be eliminated. In the next slide, we can see a graph which represents timeline in x-axis and the amount of money spent on the vehicles in the y-axis. Now we can see there is no fluctuations in ICE medium, since most of the this is the average pricing of ICE at the present or would be in the future, whereas there is a huge amount of gap between ICE medium and electric vehicle price. Now battery electric vehicle is actually a higher cost than ICE medium in 2016 as well as in 18. Coming in 2020, we can see that the price is matching somewhere, and it has been projected that in the upcoming years the price will go down, and it is aimed to have by 2030 to 18% lesser than what an ICE medium would have cost. Moving on to the next slide, we have next topic, maintenance. Now, how maintenance is a challenge for EV. When we talk about the maintenance cost, it has two sides. First is that the lower maintenance expense than ICE because it has less number of moving parts when compared. The moving parts create friction, therefore needs cooling now and then. So there is a lot of coolant used and we have to replace it. Maintenance means replacement of coolants with a new one. The other side of the coin says that EVs aren't without expenses. However, the largest possible maintenance expense for an electric vehicle is a replacement of battery pack. Unlike a conventional battery, EV have large complex rechargeable batteries that are drained and recharged constantly, which leads to degradation and range loss over time. In the rare case that your EV battery is defective and need replacement, manufacturers will often cover that replacement with a battery warranty. However, if your car is not under warranty, replacing EV battery is an expensive bill. The vast majority of EV owners won't have to replace their car's battery, but it is a risk you run when operating a electric car. For example, The 40 kilowatt hour Nissan Leaf battery cost around 5.5 thousand dollars to replace plus A3H installation charge. That's $137 per kilowatt hour for just the battery. Whereas in Tesla is rumored to be producing their lithium ion batteries at 125 kilowatt hour, $125 per kilowatt hour. The that would translate to be a $10,000 plus installation for the Tesla long range 80 kilowatt hour battery, and after the 8-year warranty expires. Now, universal vehicle expenses like tire and brake changes, insurance, structural repair are a part of owning any vehicle. But EV owners avoid many of the replaced costs associated with combustion engine upkeep. Now, here in the next slide, we can see the lithium ion graph, or the market of the lithium ion battery pack, that says the price is quite high in the year 2010, and it is gradually coming down, and it is projected to be minimum when we in the coming years, like 2025 or maybe 2030. Now, moving ahead with the next topic, that is total cost of ownership. Now, what is total cost of ownership? The total cost of ownership is the purchase price of an asset plus the cost of the operation. Assessing the total cost of ownership represents taking a bigger picture look at what the product is, what its value is over time. Now, for specific case, 12,000 miles driven per year, and for the selected economic factors, the results show that even with higher first cost, battery powered vehicles are lower in cost to conventional ICE vehicles. Using the two lowest cost variant vehicles, we have taken a Nissan Leaf and a Hyundai Elantra. The Leaf's 5-year annual cost, including all the values of maintenance, it is around $5.3 thousand a year, compared to Hyundai's $7,000 a year. Now, after 10 years of these results are primarily due to lower fuel cost of electricity versus gasoline, which for the Leaf is around $4,000, while Hyundai gasoline cost around $10,000 for the 10-year period of time. However, purchasing cost doesn't truly reflect the total cost of ownership of a vehicle or to the consumer. The operational cost of EV is much lower than the conventional vehicles. Hence, after some years of the operation, the total cost of conventional vehicles will cross the total cost of EVs. With battery prices falling continuously and having decreased by 21% in 2019 from 2013, the cost of ownership will fall dramatically in the long run. At the same time, advancement in the battery cell and packaging technologies increase the supply of raw materials like lithium, manganese, cobalt, nickel, and aluminium, and improved grid capacity, while also bringing down the cost of EV ownership year after year. In the next slide, we can see again the lithium ion batteries representation, which we can see from 2010 the fall is of 22%, and from 2014 we can see the maximum amount of drop in the price, that is 35%, and the graph is gradually going down. And again we can see the prediction that by 2030 it will be in the minimum phase. Moving on to the next topic, that is EV adoption. Now, why do we need these many things, the challenges of EV the maintenance, the high initial high cost or the total cost of ownership. Why are we discussing? We are discussing this because we want the people to understand the need or the requirement for the uh, paradigm shift of automotive because of the gaining environmental pollution or the climate change. The government has taken certain steps towards it, so we need to make people understand, and to make people understand, government has formed several bodies and several policies and standards that will go through in detail in the next session, but we'll discuss some of the topics. uh, Government bodies like EESL, Niti Aayog, as well as FAME. We have heard about the FAME scheme, first the FAME scheme 2, where government is providing incentives for hybrid and electric vehicle. They are also planning on extending the charging stations project, where government body is collaborating with several PSUs to develop new charging technology and to spread it all over the India. And there is also a proposal for retrofitting to an old conventional vehicle, where we strip out the combustion engines and we replace it with an electric powertrain, so that people will be more aware how the conventional vehicle is a backdrop than electric vehicles. Now, these are the few government bodies working right now on electrification of vehicles. That is SMEV, Niti Aayog, NEMMP, that is National Electric Mobility Mission Plan, and there is EESL, that is Energy Efficiency Services Limited. Now here in the next slide we can see the forecasted and the actual presentation of charging stations around the globe. The projected is for 2025, up till 2025, that around 70 lakh charging stations will be established. In this slide we can see that we were discussing about the government bodies and their incentives initiative. We can see for electric bus and electric taxi the amount of the amount that government has subsidized, and the number of vehicles that it has been applied on. We have also seen that it has covered major cities that has already started electrification of their commutations. Whereas in the next slide we can see the impact of the changes that government has been taking. The rise of EV market share is projected to be around 20% by the end of 2030. And the better part is that by the end of 2030 we are also seeing the degradation or the collapsing of IC engines as well, that from 80% it is dropped to around 70%, while electric vehicles have rise from 10% to 20%. To sum up the topic, we have understood in the detailed manner using the graphs and the fact. We have seen that what are the challenges for electric vehicle, and also understood how government is dealing with these challenges. I hope in the next session we will have a better understanding with it. Till then,